Hello, welcome back to my channel where we discuss the MCC laws of cricket. Before we start off with Law 5, I might just mention two small points that I missed out when we were discussing the law relating to the ball. The first is that changing of a ball is and a decision about changing of the ball is a joint decision by the two. Both have to agree. Both have to agree that the ball requires a change. And if either umpire says no, it doesn't require a change, it will not be changed. Therefore, practically, how this law works is that in case you're at the bowler's end and a ball is brought to you by a bowler, have a look at this sum, and you look at it and you feel that it is not does not require a change. There is no need for you to go into huddle with your colleague because you say no. Even if he says yes, it won't be changed. Many times I have done it. It come to me, I looked at it. No, carry on, please. There is no need for you to refer it. But if you feel that yes, it requires a change, then you require his concurrence before you call for a new ball. He has to say yes. He is entitled to say no. A lot of times, the square leg umpire colleague will support his bowler's end umpire colleague and go along. I don't think it is right, but it is also open for him to refuse to change the ball. And then he'll tell you, no, it looks okay to me, let's carry on with the same ball. Then we'll carry on with that ball. But if you have to change, both of you have to say that this ball requires a change. The second point I wish to make is that, give me a second. The second point that I wish to make as regards to ball is that we have already seen in law 2 that the umpires are responsible for ensuring that the implements of the game conform with the laws relating to them before the toss and throughout the match, which means that if at any time the umpires feel that the ball requires a change, they can do so. There doesn't have to be an appeal from a fielding side or from the batting side. They can change the ball on their own volition because it is their responsibility to ensure that this is in keeping with their responsibilities about the implements of the game. This is something that some people do ask, that whether we can do it on our own. Yes, of course you can, right? This brings me to the end of this about everything I had to say about the ball. We will talk about Law 5, the bat, in a minute. Law 5, the bat. This law has provisions regarding, describes what the bat is, what comprises the bat, the different parts, the handle, the blade, and there is a chart which says that what is the face of the bat, what is the toe, what is the shoulder of the bat, all of this. And you also have an appendix to tell you. Appendix B tells you the various sizes and tolerances for different grades of bats. You need to particularly note that the handle is made of cane or wood is what is allowed. The blade has always got to be of wood. We had that famous incident where Dennis Lillee came in with an aluminium bat and he was refused. While it can always happen, anybody can bring it, so you always got to be alert. When the batter comes in, you got to make sure, have a look and see what he is carrying casually, and also look at the size of the bat. There are provisions about the width of the bat and the length of the bat. There is no provision about the weight of a bat, but nowadays there are dimensions are given also for the meat of the bat. The dimensions there, the ball gauge available which carries all the measurements, and the bat should pass through such bat gauges which have been prescribed by the MCC in the laws, and these are readily available. Now, as regards protection and repair of the bat, naturally you can't throw a bat if the surface gets spoiled. So you are allowed, the law allows you to put certain material. The thickness is also defined. It cannot be more than 1 mm thick, and the bat gauge makes allowance for that, 1 mm on all sides. And the overriding consideration is that whatever material that you apply, it should be non-rigid, and it should not be of such a nature that it does not cause unacceptable damage to the ball. Naturally, when the bat hits the ball again and again, there is some damage caused to the ball. Now that is normal damage and acceptable damage. It should not go beyond that. There should be no unacceptable. Whatever material you put on your bat, because it should not be abrasive and would not peel off the lacquer of the ball and all that, or even damage its the leather. You have to keep a watch on these things. Now, besides the surface damage, sometimes the bats crack and develop. There is more damage to the body of the bat. Inserts in the blade have to be only wood. Just like the blade of the bat is supposed to be wood. Any insert made to repair the bat has also got to be wood, and again, it should not cause unacceptable damage to the ball. This is the principle that you got to maintain. All of these, there is a different separate section which is important for you to understand what is acceptable damage and what is not acceptable damage. This cardinal principle has to be abided by the umpires at all time when it comes to judging whether or not you are going to allow this particular material to be used. One of the things you ought to note is that the toe guard of the bat, which is always a rigid material, because rigid material is used to guard the toe, because it is you mark crease with that and all. There should be no overlap on the sides, on any side of that toe guard. Remember that whenever you come in, you casually look at the bat. Like I told you in one instance that over the years, if you have been umpiring, perhaps you can judge for yourself in a second whether or not this bat conforms with size. It happened to me once, like I told you, in a junior match, under 17 or under 15 match, the player came, a young fellow came in, and because I carry a small tape in my pocket, I told him, let me have a look at your bat, and it was more than 4 1/4 inches. We had to change that bat. So that is why I suggest you can carry a small tape with yourself. I always used to do it. Once in a while it can be useful. Now here law 5.6 lays down a very important principle here that you have to understand. All the students must understand. What is contact with the ball? It says whenever the law, two things it says. Whenever the law says bat, wherever in the laws of cricket, the law says bat, uses the term bat, B-A-T, bat, it implies that the bat is held in the hand of the batter, of the batter's hand, or glove worn on his hand, unless stated otherwise. If they might tell you the hand is not held in the bat, but if they say the ball has touched the bat, it is presumed, it is implied that it is held, and then he is liable to be caught. And runs, if the runs occur, will go. But if it is a bat which is not held in his hand, they will tell you that specifically. So this is the presumption, this is the implication of the word bat. I think this is also given, the same thing is also given in Appendix A. The second thing you must note is 5.6.2, ball striking or touching the bat or being struck by the bat. Whenever there is a mention of in the laws of the ball striking or touching the bat, the ball has struck the bat, or the ball being struck by the bat, the batsman has struck the ball, it shall mean contact of the ball with either the bat or the striker's glove or hand holding the bat, or any part of glove, or any additional material which has been used under 5.4 for protection. Now it could very well happen that a tape has come loose and is hanging. I have had occasion to help the striker by a batsman by cutting off the tape with the scissors again Another thing which I carry is a pair of scissors, not a pair of scissors, but pen knife which has a scissor built into it. I suggest you arm yourself with one. You don't know, the English umpire, you might become famous one day that he cut Gavaskar's forelock here on the field of play, and it was quite a celebrated event. Maybe one day that might happen to you. But I suggest in the normal course, penknife and a pair of scissors is a useful tool for an umpire to carry. You don't know when you can use it. We'll get to use it. Now, that piece of tape which was used for strengthening or protecting the bat has come loose and is hanging, and if the ball touches that also, that material which is attached to the bat, it is being struck by the bat. It means that it is struck by the bat. So whenever this phrase is used, the presumption is that there is contact between the ball and the bat itself, or the batter's hand holding the bat if he is not wearing a glove, or the batter's glove. Now remember, it is the entire glove. The entire glove is contact with the bat. If it touches here, even the wristband of the bat, the glove, it is presumed that, and he held it, is presumed that it has gone off the bat. So that is how the law tells us to deal with it. There are size limits given in the laws for various grades of bats. Now, about the width, shall not exceed the following 4.25 inches. It is also given in centimeters. It can be less, it cannot be more. Similarly, the depth and the edges, thickness of the edges, nowadays they have such thick bats, which was never the case. So the authorities decided to put a limit to this. And there is a limit also on the length of the blade in proportion to its overall size. It cannot be more than 52% more than the overall length of the bat. Alright, there are different categories of bats given in the laws. Now, a lot of these things are basically instructions for the bat manufacturers, and but then you can cursorily go over them. Important things for you to remember from any examination point of view really is some of the measurements, thickness, the width, depth, and the edges. If you are preparing for any examination, these are the things you should remember. All the sundry things are not really required to be remembered. These are the provisions, and of course you must always keep in mind the two principles laid down here. Contact with the ball striking, touching the bat and being struck by the ball. What it means, they will not spell it out for you every time. When it is given in the law this way, the word bat is mentioned, means the presumption is that it is held by the batter in his hand. That brings us to the end of law 5, the bat. We will go on to law 6 in our next session, the pitch. The pitch, and law 7, the creases, and law 8, the wickets. I think we can handle all of those three in one session. See you then. Before you click on the next episode, please read up from your NCC law book so that you will be all on the same page. Thank you. Bye.